Annie Idibia was groomed by Two-Face, and you can believe what you want to believe, but she met this man at 15. He was 9 years older than her. A 24-year-old grown-ass man has no business dating a teenager, a 15-year-old. Adding to the unbalanced dynamic, the fact that he was an up-and-coming star and at some point was one of the biggest African artists. You have to keep in mind, we didn't have Whiskey, Burna Boy, Amapiano. We didn't have all of that. Europe, America, they did not know African music, but he went worldwide. So for people not to see Annie as a victim and actually make fun about her situation with Two-Face actually pisses me off. She was a young girl that should have been protected by her parents when she met Two-Face. And this guy started dating her with his 9 years of life experience that he was ahead of her, knowing fully well she's young, she's impressionable. And she grew to just accept him and compromise and just accept that is how a man, that's how relationships are supposed to be. She has to just accept whatever comes her way. For some people to think that it's funny that she met him at 15, but was the last woman to bear his children because he had like 5 kids with 2 women. These women are not even side chicks. These are her co-wives. It's just that he didn't marry them. But he had 2 separate relationships, had children with them before now having a child with her. Do you people understand how mentally damaged a woman has to be to not only accept that type of nonsense, but to also rationalize it, embrace the children with open heart, like not even show any animosity towards those women and act as if everything is fine? Annie had her youth stolen from her by a useless man. And a lot of Africans will choose to look past that because they see her flying private, they see her holding Birkins, and they feel like she has access to so much. So why would we care about that? She should be happy. I don't think you people understand that infidelity and manipulation can destroy your self-esteem, destroy your self-worth, destroy even your trust in yourself. Like, a man can manipulate you to the point that you will start questioning your own reality. You will question things you saw with your own eyes. You can see him doing something, but he will now make you believe he did not see it. He can make you believe things that never happened. You need to imagine there are women out here or people out here that have been cheated on by someone they would have never expected it from. And they are like having a full-blown panic attack and finding it hard to breathe. Some people stop eating because of love and heartbreak. Now imagine that person is your world. You have married him. Everyone around you has told you that you need to count yourself lucky to be with him because he's this mega star. And then also women being as spiteful as they can be will be telling you that, oh, you're not even fine enough to be with him. You don't even deserve him. He can get finer girls. And then on top of that, he's significantly older than you, has shaped your view of the world, shaped how you think. He's been part of your life for longer than you can think. Like, he's been part from of your life for the majority of your life. And this person that is your only reference of love is someone that treats you so badly. I don't think people understand that, like, some women that want running around and mad on these streets is because of men. Like, the women that you people see that they just off their wig, off everything, and they just run around naked. Most of the time, it's men that make them do that. Because I don't like how a lot of us downplay the impact of psychological torture. Women suffer more from autoimmune diseases than men, significantly more. And the reasons could possibly be traced back to the mental load we carry in all relationships, in society and friendships, everywhere.
No, that last point was a little bit of that was a stone throw. I need to take that back. But hey, I want to say this first and foremost. Welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Listen, I want to be very, very honest. I actually agree with her. Can't lie to you. If he was 50, if he was 24 and she was 15, that is outrageous. Now, of course, back in the day of the African history, you know, it would have been looked on differently. But we are having awareness. We have more knowledge. We are more evolved from in terms of understanding about these things in 2024. Now, I know a lot of men might disagree, but let me just say this now. You shouldn't. If she was 15 and he was 24, that is a huge gap. What does a 24-year-old want with a 15-year-old, right? Now, to be fair, if I remember correctly the story, he knew her 15, but I think they started dating was about 19, when she was about 19, whatever. But even then, she would have been 19 and he would have been what? He would have been 29. Right, 10-year gap, which would have been better at that age. At least should have been a bit more grown. But at 15, you're well, like in anything, he actually becomes her father. That's how much of the gap is, right? And so once that person almost becomes like a father figure for you in that relationship, the damage that can be done in that relationship is immense, because if that person has bad intentions towards you, right, and treats you badly, there's a power dynamic between the two of you anyway. First and foremost, between men and women is a power dynamic, right? Physical power dynamic. And then you got that 9-year gap, right, which is also crazy, which is also another power dynamic, because at 15, you know how you were at 15. You were impressionable. You were willing to take on people's ideas and thoughts, and you didn't have your own. You might have been strong enough to have some amongst your friends, but to a 24-year-old, to someone that you like, yeah, remember those girls. We all remember the girls from back in the day when we were younger, dating 24-year-olds, 21-year-olds. We all remember those girls, and we also say they were all fast, right? Because they'll all come out bragging. So I understand what you're saying, but I want to be very fair. At 24 and 15, this ain't even close. This is not even close. This is not the 17-year-old and the 15-year-old. It's not like we're in school and this ain't it. This is 24, grown-ass man with a established platform who is a world superstar at that time. Like I keep saying, you'll be my African queen, girl of my dreams. I didn't even know it was Tubaba. I didn't even know it was Two-Face. I wasn't even aware until recently. In fact, it was only till the first scene of Young, Famous, and African. I said, that is the guy who sang the song. Because that song is renowned. It is worldwide. If it was TikTok days, he'd be blown up by now. So that's the kind of level of power that this man has. And so you have to understand how that's going to influence the sphere of person being in a relationship. They almost coerced into a relationship. They may have wanted to, but they would have not known better, right? And so this is why we have guardians, because even the Bible tells us in Galatians about how we were under guardianship until we were grown, because we were sons and we needed to mature to be able to in order to be able to step into a place where we could handle salvation in a particular way. What I mean by that is in a sense of we were under the cosh of the law and then given grace later on. Once we were matured, the maturity is the Holy Spirit. So understand that even in the Bible it talks about maturity. We see this with kings that go on the throne. So it's the same thing as young adults. And at 15, you're a teen, and you're dealing with somebody who's an adult. Yeah, you're going to be bamboozled. So we do have to have a conversation about that grooming aspect, and I think the lady is absolutely correct. And to see him treat, and the problem is again, because he has so much power, again, absolute power corrupts, and that's where the issue really starts from. He already had 2 women that he had children with, and then chose a 15-year-old. It's crazy. Think about it. It's an intentional choice, right? Because you knew that you would have less resistance. You knew that you'd have somebody who wouldn't fight you as much. You knew you'd have somebody who would just obey your commands, rather than having somebody who you could partner with who would be your age, because you knew somebody your same age will probably push back a little bit, right? So it's a real conversation to have, and I do feel for Annie on this situation. Now, I still say that she has accountability, because everyone has to be accountable for their own life. And so when she got to a more mature age, she does have to look at the life, look at the situation differently. But we also understand that she has been manipulated from a very young age and groomed in this space. So I have sympathy and I have some grace for her as well, to say, listen, let's, you know what I'm saying, let's get the healing going. Let's get you back on that horse, not a relationship horse, but let's get you back on that horse in terms of you finding yourself. Because from 15 or even 19, whatever you want to describe it as, quote unquote, up until the age of 40, this has been a very long time. It's double your age that you've been with this man. You've known nothing else but him. It's going to be very difficult to leave that alone. No wonder you're breaking down. Your whole reality is coming to crumbles. Of course, you'll fight every tooth and nail, because what else have you ever known? If he leaves you, what else would happen? Where else would I go? Who else would I be? Your whole identity has become that man too, right? So I hear it. Listen, sis was on a nail, and I can't lie to you. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I want to know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you. Make sure you just click on the all notifications, okay? The bell button. Little black book. You know what time it is.